नमस्कार. माणिक्य द गिफ्टेड चाइल्ड प्रोग्राम हे विश्व कोंकणी केंद्राचे नवे उपक्रम. कोंकणी समाजांतले बुद्धिमंत चेडवांक आयडेंटिफाय करून तांकां एक हँड होल्डिंग करतसले कार्यक्रम जावन आसा माणिक्य कार्यक्रम. हे गिफ्टेड चाइल्ड प्रोग्राम म्हळ्यार कसले एक चेडवालांतू गिफ्टेडनेस म्हळ्यार कसले म्हणचे विचारी आम्ही आजी एक विशेष अतिथीक हांगा आमच्या स्टुडियोंत आपण हाडला. तांगेलें नांव आसा डॉक्टर नारायण देसाई. डॉक्टर नारायण देसाई गिफ्टेड चाइल्ड प्रोग्राम ऑफ मेन्सा इंडिया हातूंत भितर तांणी विशेष जावन आशिल्लें काम केलेलें आसाची. 26 years of experience in identifying the gifted children in entire India. तांगेले आमी निमगुया आजी गिफ्टेड चाइल्ड म्हळ्यार कसले, गिफ्टेडनेस म्हळ्यार कसले, आनी मेन्सा एक अंतरराष्ट्रीय जावन आशिल्लें एक ऑर्गनायझेशन. तांणी गिफ्टेडनेस इन एवरी चिल्ड्रन म्हळ्यार एक चेडवालांतू गिफ्टेडनेस आयडेंटिफाय करचे विशयारी तांणी IQ टेस्ट पुराय करताची. ताजे विशयारी आमी चड माहिती आजी घेवया. Dr. Narayan Desai, we are very fortunate to have you here and we would like to listen more about what is giftedness in children.
Well, you have asked a good question because if we know what is giftedness, then we can talk about how to identify and how to nurture. Each and every kid has a gift. Each and every kid has his own intelligence. But some kids can perform higher than their age, their mental age. If I can want to give an analogy, you have two cars, one is Maruti 800 and one is Ferrari. Both will take you to the destination, but the quality of driving a Maruti and Ferrari, their own integral structure and function will be totally different. And everybody understands that Ferrari is more better than Maruti in performance. So the gifted kid will have that higher age with his age group. A kid of a gifted kid of a 7th standard can lead of a mathematical problem in 9th standard also. So he is 2 years ahead. He will be having an inquisitiveness and curiosity of a mature person also. So the giftedness talks about the performance and ability to do more than what his age is. So that is what basically the giftedness is all about.
Yeah, so now we understood that having high IQness in any person will be called as a giftedness. So how a parent or a teacher for that matter can identify, is there any other methods than participating in a IQ test?
Well, I think you have come up with a very good important thing which probably the psychologist in India is lacking. Is best thing is to identify a gifted is observation.
Okay.
And none of person is better than the mother as well as the teacher, because most of the time students spend time with their families or in the school.
Yeah.
There are very typical characteristics of a gifted. He will be always curious. There are some anatomical structure also, physiologically also he will be curious, always pop up always curious to listen what is happening, keep on asking questions. And probably the regular kid can ask 5 questions, he can ask 50 questions.
Yeah.
He will finish his job fast. He will get disinterested fast. Yesterday I was talking with a kid who is in Udupi, and the mother was saying, 6 years she has done a very good classical music. Now she has stopped and she has went to the painting. That's a gifted characteristics. So we are coming with more than 150 characteristics where parents and teachers can just, most of the time in international world, in United States and in Europe, there is a performance sheet given to the school teachers and parents called parent assessment and teacher assessment. On that basis they select the gifted, whereas we have to develop our own checklist for our gifted. If the checklist is not available, then giftedness identification testing will be an important source of identifying gifted.
Okay, so is that the standards of European standards or American standards of identification or these characteristics which you have mentioned, will there suffice in Indian context to identify the giftedness in children?
Yes, we are working with the giftedness. My school and my organization is working with the giftedness from last 60 years. So we have come up with our own criteria of giftedness. The test which has been developed, they are indigenous. They have developed by India, and they have been recognized by Mensa International.
Okay.
So we are not adopting any test which is bought in Germany or developed in Germany's population and bring it into Pune, India.
So in simple terms, on the when we look at the child, what is the very basic criteria or characteristics which defines, oh, this child can be gifted child?
Inquisitiveness,
Inquisitiveness.
high curiosity, highest curiosity, keep on questioning,
And sticking on to one particular task.
will be persistent when if he is happy or get disinterested very fast. Have second, one of the greatest criteria is emotionally weak,
Okay.
very attached with the family, very
Okay.
if there is an injustice going on, then immediately he will fight back. He'll say, no, this is wrong. You have to say, no, mama, he's wrong.
Okay.
You should not allow him to do that. So he's
Okay.
no. And then having less capability of coping with the strategy,
Okay.
current situations. And
Okay. So in the beginning you said that the this can be measured in terms of IQ, this thing. So these children, those who are very, very high IQ children, fall into which kind of a category in the whole population in the entire world?
what we identify gifted is top 2% of the total population of the world.
Okay.
If we say there are 100 people in the world, 2 will be Mongolian child or slow learners, 96 will be having a general intelligence, common range, and 2% will be top 2%, in which we identify who are scoring more than 98 percentile of the test. Now, let me define this giftedness. We are not working with the academics. A gifted kid probably failed in mathematics also, finding science is a very difficult subject, but he will be 99 plus.
Oh.
So the academics and giftedness doesn't hold direct relationship. So, but there is a great chance that a kid who is gifted will be performing good in mathematics or science, and so both can hold true.
So now when we, let us say we have identified a gifted child and we don't do anything about it, he will grow up like a normal any other child. So what is the possibility of achieving big or not achieving big, all these things?
I will give a small analogy, like a diamond is found in a coal mine, and it is not been sent to Surat, Gujarat for cutting and not have a good carat thing, and never went to the jewelry shop, not got a good ring for this one, and not sold out for $1 million. You know, it can be just wasted. And I think in India, unfortunately, each and every community has such a lovely diamonds which are not been nurtured, not been carved, not been sold out. I am not saying sold out is a bad word for that, but not been given to the world for a better use.
Yeah. So that definitely they will be having, they can create a lot of value to the community and a lot of value to the society. So now how to identify these kids in terms of IQ tests? And who conducts this IQ test? And little more about the IQ test and the methods of it.
Mensa India is a registered organization. It is under a charitable organization, and it is affiliated, and it is a recognized chapter for Mensa International.
Mensa International.
So the national supervisory psychologist of Mensa India is been recognized by international. Now, national supervisory psychologist has identified couple of psychological tests which can be recognized as a Mensa international test. Now, if we see the diversity and total structure of India, language will be a big barrier if we are conducting any test which is language based. Tomorrow if we say no, mathematics and science is a base for identifying gifted, then probably my tribals and under rural people will be saying that we are not good. So we have come up with culture fair, non-academic test which can be given by educated people as well as uneducated people to identify. So there are simple tests not based on any syllabus. We don't ask any questions on mathematics, science and geography, general knowledge, nothing. And we see the speed of that brain, how it is processing. So speed matters. So if we give that test to a kid and give a ample time of like 15 minutes, he will solve all the questions, no doubt about that. But if we constrain that time into 2 minutes or 3 minutes, then brain get challenged and it processes fast. That processing speed we pick up and we said, okay, he is a gifted. So we have more than 4 tests which we recognize for Mensa India. We conduct 2 tests for each kid, because if he is not able to perform in one, definitely he can perform in second. Well, sometimes today he is not able to perform. So after 1 year he can reappear. After 1 year he can reappear. He can appear for number of years, no problem. The gap has to be 1 year. Then we give a score. If he score more than 95, we give a score to him and we recognize him gifted. So 95 to 97 percentile score we have to work on him so that he can be pushed to 98.
Okay.
If you do some sort of grooming to him, definitely he will perform better and he will be 98. And 98 and 99, 99 plus, these 3 categories, we take them, we talk to the parents, he is a gifted, he has to be nurtured, and then we have a non-academic nurturing program, or in schools also they have a academic nurturing program, both he can be enrolled.
Okay. So what is Mensa is all about? Is that as you said, it is a charitable organization. Is that a certifying authority for IQ-ness or high IQ-ness in the individuals?
Yeah, in world in 1946 they thought about we should have an organization for highly intelligent people. They can be working in different discipline and any part of the world. So they formed an organization and more than 180 countries are members. And then they decide, okay, we have a cutting criteria of having more than 98% is gifted. There are other organizations also who they have different scores, and like European Talent Support Network, they talk about more performance based. Some artists, tomorrow if you find if an artist is sitting for a Mensa test and he is not qualified, you can't say he is not gifted. He is definitely gifted. His inability of that particular test not to get that giftedness in particular. I always give an example. If Bhimsen Joshi, who was a biggest vocalist, he appeared for a Mensa test and not qualified, you can't say that he is not gifted. Definitely he is gifted. Correct. It is a limitation of the scale, test and the scale. So
okay, so there can be different methods to identify giftedness in children. And the giftedness, if it is visible, like the performing arts, let us say that one child is performing very well in music, let us say a child prodigy, it can be immediately identified because it's a performance art.
Correct.
So that can be immediately identified, groomed in that line, and we have seen a lot of child prodigies in that. But certain prodigies are hard to identify, and then, as you said, the IQ test will definitely come to our rescue and for the child's future. So now, when we talk about the high IQ-ness, so are there any pitfalls or the weaknesses in that person or in that person which will be detrimental to a normal growth?
Oh yeah. Most of the time I get a call from parents and saying that my kid is 3 years old and he can he can tell you all the capitals of the country, he can talk 6 languages and blah 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 blah. I said I am very proud that I have a friend like that, or my city fellow is like having a kid like this. But it's like a 2 years grown small sapling and you are providing too many nutrients. It will die off. It has to come with a natural growth.
Okay.
So we don't recommend a kid without any prescription to get identified as a intelligence test before 10 years. So after 10 years he will have his own sense of existence, maturity and all those things. And what you said very correctly, sometimes it's detrimental because then parents takes them as like a tag. Oh, you are gifted.
Okay.
Then you should play a badminton and you should be good in chess. And why you are not performing in mathematics? So giftedness doesn't mean that he has to perform in everything. He has a potential.
High expectation will also.
Exactly. And then tagging. And then you don't play with him. He is not, no. And then they have a masking effect.
Okay.
Let's think of a situation that a gifted kid with 5 friends.
Okay.
If he shows smartness more,
Okay.
those 4 friends will leave him.
Leave him. Correct.
He said, I don't want to leave my friends. So
Yeah.
he said, I don't know. I can't answer. What you are saying is, I don't answer. I don't have an answer. So he will mask his intelligence.
Oh.
So sometimes
It is subconsciously or the consciously.
he will make consciously.
Consciously. Okay.
I have seen parents where siblings, one kid is gifted and the younger kid is not. So the younger elder one behaves like he doesn't know anything.
Oh.
But he is gifted.
Okay.
But he has to match with his sibling.
Okay.
So that happens. That
Okay,
most of
okay,
the times.
okay,
For when I am working in a tribal area and rural area, girls are gifted and boys are not in one family. The girl will say no.
So it's not expected of them to perform better than the boys.
Yeah. And then they say, for my sake of my family and my brother, I will perform less.
Sacrifice.
And that is something which is,
Okay.
as they are emotionally very sensitive, they will
Correct.
do all those things.
Correct,
Definitely
correct.
they will do all those things.
So now, if unchecked or not recognized and not identified, what is the inherent? Are there any weaknesses in particularly the person who is having IQness, or he will be normal like anybody else?
No, he will be emotionally weak all the time. He will be very serious about couple of thoughts. He will be having hard time to cope up with. It's like not knowing that you have a less immunity.
Okay.
You keep on falling ill.
Oh.
Then you know, oh, my immunity, my hemoglobin is already low, so I will fall ill. So I have to improve that, or I have to cope up with something like that. So the people who are not been identified as gifted, but they are really gifted, they will follow all disadvantages being this one.
Okay. Yeah, we are concerned actually when we have not identified a child as a gifted and not nurture the person in terms of his well-being, mental well-being, or the nurturing of the giftedness in itself. As you said, it's a great wastage or loss to the community. Are they look normal otherwise, or will there be a procrastination or laziness and all those things will be there?
Definitely they will be there because they will lose interest in a subject
Quickly.
They will be argumentative always time, giving excuses. Most of the parents will say he give a lot of excuses not to study. He don't want to give excuses. He is not interested.
He's not interested.
Moment he find interest, he won't give excuses. I heard one kid, parents were telling, we gave a book up to night 3 o'clock he was reading. What is this? And I give a book of school book, immediately he sleeps. I said, of course, if you give Harry Potter or something which is boost his imagination, definitely he will love to read that and finish it off. So that is the thing which with giftedness.
So anything other than that, if a parent has to keep in mind that any other message would you like to give to the parents?
Moment you find that your kid is gifted, or you try to with all that characteristics, you said okay, he is gifted. Try to challenge him slowly and steadily. Take your counseling session with the psychologist. Now they are available and they can talk to you about how to handle a gifted. There are a lot of resources on internet and all those things where you can avail how to. But rather than questioning and crossing him over, which has happened a lot of times in schools, try to challenge him. Oh, I can study for 1 hour. Oh, you can raise more 50 questions on that chapter. So you can spend more than half an hour. Try to take him to market. I always tell mothers, take him to market, let him understand how the dealing happens, what are the emotions, what are the feelings of people. Take him to all places the father used to take him to bank and other like vehicle servicing also, then he will say, oh, there is an intelligence going on. So it will always feed to him and he is not left out. If he is gifted, you should sit in the library or sit in front of a book. That is not a good case. He has to be taken away all the places, travel lot. Moment you sit and give a window seat to him, he will keep on thinking how the world works.
Wow.
And I think that is the best way of nourish. We always say that nature always is a big teacher. Just provide him that big
Very
teacher
nice.
rather than
Yes.
just putting him to four walls of this building. So,
Dr. Desai, kindly let us know more about your work in the last 26 years.
well, I was doing PhD in restoration ecology, creating forest, and I was working in a tribal area, and there a lot of tribal schools were hanging around me, and they were telling me this is this seed, and I said, oh, these kids are smart. What makes me different than them? Oh, I got some certificate which probably they don't have. So I conducted my first Mensa test in a tribal school and identified 4 girls, and that was a shocking thing for educationalists, academicians and psychologists. How come it possible? And that entire tribal Mensa nurturing program now has started growing. We have screened more than 45,000 students. Wow. We got more than 3,700 listed gifted. Last 5 years we are working with girls. I am very sensitive with the girls because they have to handle both sides, the mother's sides and father-in-law's, mother-in-law sides. And if we can identify gifted girls and they became mentors and facilitators and leaders at grassroots level, I think what is that Make in India and Made in India vision, what the Prime Minister has said, and all organizations are they are the part of this entire huge yajna. I think we will be contributing more on that.
That's absolutely fascinating that you have, really exciting to know that all these works are resulting in some kind of very positive impact in that lives of people in basically northern Maharashtra and coastal belt.
Correct.
So we are very privileged or fortunate to have you with our connected with our program Manikya, and we look forward to have a greater relationship with your organization as well, and we will look forward to work with you in a long possible time where we can identify more number of Konkani children as giftedness in them and work towards nourishing them. Thank you so much for being in our studio, and it's absolutely wonderful to have you here.
Thanks a lot. I appreciate that.
या विषयी तुम्ही पुरा ऐकली जी तुम्ही या प्रोग्राम पळयला तुमकां एक देव बरें करूं म्हणटा. नमस्कार.